Good evening, good to have you with us on this edition of The Last Word. Tonight, we talk about the politics of opportunism, which especially peaks during the election season. Foes turn friends, rivals become best friends and allies and come together. You see people abandoning their own parties, jumping ship, going to the rival party. And all kinds of changes happen. Gadbandhans are made, people switch their parties. We ask the question, does all of this prove that our netas are only opportunists? That they basically don't really have an ideology, or they have an ideology for as long as it benefits them. Now, we've picked a couple of examples to begin with. And the picture of the day, the visual of the day is what I want to start off with as the first example that's coming up on your screens. This visual from Mainpuri Today, viewers. Enemies, sworn enemies for almost 25 years. Mulayam Singh Yadav and Mayawati forced to come together for a battle for survival, for political relevance. A lot of this done by this man's son, Akhilesh Yadav now, who's literally been leading this Gadbandhan talks and now this Gadbandhan with Mayawati. But today she came to campaign for Mulayam Singh Yadav. And she came and she said that he is the real face for the backward caste. We thought we would never see this day. Is this a genuine alliance or just opportunism? That's the big question. Let's get you another example. Few interesting pictures that we've picked up today. Priyanka Chaturvedi, one of the fiercest voices, a woman national spokesperson of the Congress party, has always wholeheartedly defended Rahul Gandhi, defended the Congress leadership and their policies, and taken on BJP and taken on Shiv Sena at every possible step. She said that she is upset that some of the Congress workers who had abused her, who had harassed her, were suspended and then reinstated into the party. And then she wanted to fight for women issues. She wanted to be at a place where women will be respected and given their platform. And guess what? The next day, she was sitting right next to this man, Uddhav Singh Thackeray of the Shiv Sena. She's officially part of the Shiv Sena now. Is that a shift of ideology or not? Opportunism, or a genuine case where she feels perhaps in Shiv Sena she will get a better platform to fight for women empowerment. Let's give you another example, and this one is also very, very interesting. Shatrughan Sinha, shotgun. He's been a rebel BJP leader now for a couple of years, seemingly very upset with the top leadership. So it wasn't very surprising that the BJP man jumped ship and joined the Congress party. But it doesn't stop there. This is a picture of him with Poonam Sinha, his wife, who is now a SP candidate from Lucknow. And she will be taking on BJP's Rajnath Singh, while Shatrughan Sinha will be taking on BJP's Ravi Shankar Prasad in Patna. So a Congress leader, former BJP leader and MP, campaigning for his wife, who's a Samajwadi Party candidate now. How does that really work? All opportunism? Should the voters take these netas seriously? One last example before I introduce you to our guest, Vijayant Panta, Jay Panda, once upon a time a very close aide of the Chief Minister of Orissa, senior leader of the BJP, now best friends with the BJP chief. So much so that the BJD people were so angry with him that they even went after his friends who he was hosting in Orissa. That's how things have turned this election season. Over the next 40 minutes, I'm going to get you more examples. But first, let's quickly say good evening to our panelists. Joining me this evening, Vineet Goenka, leader of the BJP, Bijon Mishra, consumer activist, Mr. K. Nageshwar, a political analyst joining us from Hyderabad, Sangeet Kumar Ragi, political analyst joining us from Delhi, and Vandana Singh, spokesperson for the Samajwadi Party. Let's start with you, Vandana Singh. How do you convince your voter that somebody who was your sworn rival till now, who you had the worst of the things to say, has now become your best friend and is campaigning for you. How do you tell this to your voters and convince them that this is not opportunism? Vandana Singh, good evening. Can you hear me? This is Tanvi here.
Yeah, it's his voice is not clear.
Okay, we're going to try and fix it. Vandana Singh, my question to you, if you can hear me, is how do you convince your voters that Mayawati is your best friend now?
Tanvi, this is politics. There are no permanent friends or enemies. And they're both sharing the stage, and they're both convincing their own vote bank. So I don't think one needs to convince the other's vote bank. They're all there. BSP and SP workers, they are together, participating in all the rallies. So I don't think either of them need to convince another's voters.
But you used to, and your party leaders used to attack Mayawati all the time, had the worst and the meanest of the things to say for her. You fought against her now for several elections. There was a point of time when Mulayam said, BSP leader calls herself Dalit ki beti, par wo to sirf amiron ke liye kaam karti hai. Akhilesh Yadav actually termed the BSP an uncontrolled elephant that could do more damage than good to Uttar Pradesh. And now you're telling us that this Gathbandhan is the best thing for Uttar Pradesh. Is this just opportunism?
Well, yes. This is people look for opportunities. Even the political parties, they look for opportunities. And it's clearly the party's leadership's decision who they ally with and what they do. It's their prerogative. So I guess he thinks this is the best. So therefore, he's decided to go with BSP. And it's working out. So nobody is complaining so far. And we'll know by 23rd of May what is the result of this alliance.
But frankly, let me just say this, Vandana Singh, your frankness has stumped me tonight with the way you are actually admitting that, yes, this is an opportunity and we think this is going to work and we'll see how it goes. Bijon Mishra, that tells you a lot, doesn't it? And, you know, today Mayawati is standing and saying, oh, yes, Mulayam Singh Yadav is the true face for all the backward castes. It's very interesting. And should the voters actually vote for such netas?
Tanvi, you can pull out from your files in the past what each of these parties would have spoken in public against each other. And you can see very well that it is nothing but their personal vested interest to somehow grab power. And the citizens are not fools. The voters are very intelligent. They understand all this. And you will see all these so-called Mahagathbandhan, so-called alliances, they will all fall through the cracks. They will all be, kind of ashamed after they see the results, how it doesn't work in their favor. Because we don't forget their statements, we don't forget their, kind of ideologies. You see, all political parties have an ideology. And you fight elections based on your ideology and your promises and your, kind of loyalists who support you. And how can you overnight change your views? How can you overnight, take the voters for granted, take the citizens for granted, and without their consent, you go ahead to agree to join hands? Just because some of your cronies, they agree to do it, and they try to tell you that you can grab power by doing this, or you can do some hard bargaining in terms of financial gains. You see, it is very unfortunate that in our country, we don't have a law which does not allow such defections in terms of ideology. And it is very unfortunate that in our country, we have to live with such kind of political leaders who have no value system in them. They don't have an ideology. They don't fight for, people's ideology and people's wishes. They fight for their own personal gain. They fight for their own personal enrichment. And that is what is unfortunate. I agree, people have the right to choose. But you don't have the right to take the citizens for granted. You should resign. If supposing you are not happy with your political party, whose ideology you followed, then you should resign. You should just quit politics rather than trying to switch your ideology and showing and demonstrating that you are working for your own personal vested interest.
Absolutely.
Even
No,
imagine.
absolutely. I completely agree with you, Mr. Bijan Mishra. And if you don't agree with a political party anymore, or if you're unhappy because they didn't give you a ticket, if you're unhappy if they didn't give you a certain role, they didn't give you a certain post, then say so. But don't overnight then come up with different kinds of bizarre arguments to say, oh no, suddenly I think my ideas and my beliefs align more with this party than that party. I want to actually also bring out another list that we've collated, and these are just a handful, by the way, viewers. When we started actually researching on this, there were a huge number of names across states, across political parties, people just jumping from one political party to another and another, whoever was willing to give them a ticket. So let's bring up some of those names. And of course, Tom Vadakkan was a bit of a surprise and obviously a setback for the Congress party. He had been with them for a really long time, one of their most visible spokesperson at one point of time, unhappy with the way perhaps he was treated by the leadership, jumped ship and went to the BJP, the party he had been attacking on national media, on TV debates every single day. Now he sits and defends that party. Let's give you one more example. Shatrughan Sinha, like I said, went from BJP to Congress and then goes out and starts campaigning for his wife for Samajwadi Party in Uttar Pradesh. Let's move on and get you more examples. Kirti Azad with the BJP for as long as it suited him. Suddenly he thought, no, I think my interests and my beliefs align more with the Congress party, and then shifted to the Congress party. Let's give you some more examples, and these are all recent jumps that have happened. Savitribai Phule went from the BJP to the Congress party. Again, one of those which makes you question, wait, what is your belief and how does this really work between the BJP and the Congress? Let's pull up more examples, and we're trying to give you from different parties who've jumped to different places. Ravi Kishan, the famous actor and now a politician, went from the Congress to the BJP. Whatever works to get some more numbers, to get some more support, and perhaps hopefully get a ticket, he will do that, like many of the other actors that we have seen in the recent past. So these are some of the names that we've pulled up for you that actually show you that these politicians perhaps have really no true love for any kind of ideology, and then it makes you wonder, what is it really that they stand for, that they will give you as their Neta? Why should I vote for them? That's my question. Mr. Nageshwar, do you agree? We saw a lot of this switch between parties in the run-up to the elections, even in the South, and even in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana.
Yeah, in fact, we have to differentiate between politicians switching political loyalties, party loyalties, and parties making alliances. In an age of fractured verdict, in an age of fragmented polity, alliances are inevitable, in fact. Tomorrow, assuming that there is no political party gets a clear majority, should we go for another elections? So, pre-poll alliances are far, far superior to the post-poll alliances. The only thing we'll have to ask is, all these political parties, when they are allying with each other, come out with some common minimum program. But you can't say that in a fragmented polity and a fractured verdict, political parties should not have any alliances at all. But the most worrying aspect, as you rightly pointed out, individual politicians overnight shifting loyalties and becoming candidates. Look at Assam, the Ahmed Bishwas Sharma and Sarvanand Sonowal, they are imported leaders. Andhra Pradesh BJP is headed by a former Congress minister, whom the BJP earlier described as a corrupt minister when he was part of the Rajashekar Reddy cabinet. So in Telangana, BJP picked up Congress leaders and fielded them as parliament candidates because they don't have their own candidates. So that kind of an individual leader shifting loyalties is highly reprehensible because they are essentially power mongering. There are no other criteria. But the question of ideology, I don't think there is any ideology in Indian political system. So ideology has long been eclipsed. It's more a proprietorial concern. Political parties are a private limited companies. They are not run even by professionals. They are run by the political leaders who consider them as personal property. So the unfortunate part of it is, I don't think people are voting out these alliances. People are voting out these imported leaders. People are defeating defectors. Unfortunately, people are voting them.
Yes.
Many of the MLAs who are defected from the other parties to Telangana Rashtra Samiti in Telangana got re-elected in the recent assembly elections. The moment you got re-elected, what can anyone do? So ultimately, the people's consciousness that will change the political system. But individual political leaders, shifting loyalties on the last minute, I think there should be a law which says that if they join a political party, they should not be allowed to contest on that party behalf, at least for the next elections. So you should have a 6-month period or 1-year period. You can't expect someone joining at 11 o'clock and becoming a candidate at 11:30. I'll tell you an example in Andhra Pradesh.
Yes.
A person who was listed, who was included, this is a very interesting thing. A person who was mentioned in the TDP list as a candidate, after getting the TDP B form, he rejected it and joined the YSR Congress to become the YSR Congress candidate. So that is the most reprehensible thing.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you know, sometimes they even go on to then become the chief minister. Not only do they abandon parties to get a ticket to fight election, but also to then become the chief minister of a certain state. Mr. Goenka, let me ask you this question: do you think there should be a law that at least ensures there is a cooling period, that you can't just jump ship, change your ideology, change your party one fine day, and then get a ticket and fight and become a Neta?
Yeah, this can be discussed, because what suggestion you're making is a suggestion worth to be discussed by all the parties. We can all come together and discuss this. And if this is a better suggestion and everybody agrees, this can be put in. But Anna, I'll tell you, please do not paint everything in one single color. We'll have to take it transactionally and discuss every case. And yes, as rightly said by you, if the case is pure greed, then we all should condemn it, whether even somebody joins BJP. If the case is genuine, then probably we may have to look at in the merits of that. And this did not happen right now. Let me take you back in 1951, when Shyama Prasad Mukherjee went to Kashmir and said Kashmir is an integral part of India, and he disagreed with Nehruji, and he started Jana Sangha. Today we all are here because of Shyama Prasad Mukherjee's right move, and we felt he was a visionary who showed the country that Kashmir issue is been done by Nehruji. And we see the results even after 70 years of that. Number two, Chandrasekharji came out of Congress and became Prime Minister of the country. He was a youth Congress leader. He was also called as Young Turk, if you remember. And he gave a vision to the country, and we saw that he led the country for some time. VP Singh was part of Congress, had a serious disagreement with Rajiv Gandhi ji, became Prime Minister of the country. We also saw Sharad Pawar calling Sonia Gandhi ji's origin of Italy.
People who have disagreement with their leaders, they become Prime Minister of our country?
No, I'll just take my 1 minute, and then you can always take it whatever way. So I think Sharad Pawar. Now here, when Sharad Pawar, he says he disagrees with Sonia Gandhi's origin and then goes and ties up with Congress, then it becomes a problem. When Mamata Banerjee leaves Congress on a terms that disagree and then has an alliance with Congress, then you can say, here, there is a problem to this particular part. When Congress fields a candidate against Ambedkar, defeats B.R. Ambedkar ji, Dr. Ambedkar ji, Baba Saheb Ambedkar ji, and then then BSP goes and ties with Congress in Madhya Pradesh, then you say there is a conflict which is going on. When Jagan Reddy, or maybe probably people who have left Congress, and they come out and then they again talk about, possibilities which can be done in the politics, then I think it is there. But if you see some cases, you say yes. Yes, when I see Sidhu, I say it's a pure greed. The gentleman had everything here, respect, position, everything, but pure greed took him there. When I see Mr. Sinha, Shatrughan Sinha ji, then I say, okay, what not this party had given. And see, today he's not loyal to Congress. He's a Congress candidate for somewhere, and then he speaks against the Congress when it is his own wife's candidature. So you cannot paint everybody in single brush.
You cannot paint. So let me tell you, so you said we'll go example by example. So let me ask you on a couple of other examples also. You cited at least 10 right now. I want to ask you on a couple. What is the explanation, apart from the fact that perhaps your party is very forgiving, that you became friends with Nitish Kumar again? He abandoned you. He stood against Narendra Modi. He said, I will never be part of this alliance if Narendra Modi is going to lead it. He joined hands after that with Lalu Prasad Yadav, formed the government there, abandoned ship there also, and then came back to you. Now tell me, how does that work? How do you explain that to your voters? What's happening with Nitish Kumar? Or what is happening with Mehbooba Mufti?
You gave a very nice example.
Or what you did with Mehbooba Mufti.
I would like to thank you for that.
Yes, okay.
I'll comment that.
Yes.
So can we go one by one? I will speak on both, and I have a lot of patience and to speak. So as far as Mr. Kumar goes, Nitish Kumar, I think, is a visionary. This thing we had seen as a railway minister in Atalji's cabinet, he has done good job. He had certain disagreements. He decided to contest against us. He leveled charges on us.
If
We
he
were angry
joins
with
you,
him.
he becomes a
But
visionary.
when he realized that Lalu
Interesting,
is a
Mr.
bigger
Goenka.
threat. Let me complete. If I complete my sentence, probably I will speak better for myself than you representing
Sounds
me.
hilarious.
You know? So I think, we all...
I'm not
Why are
representing
you so
you, but you
agitated?
sound
It's your own show.
hilarious.
Let me complete
He
the
joined
sentence,
you,
ma'am.
so he became visionary. When he left you, no, when he
Let the
left you,
audience
there was
decide
something
that.
wrong with his
Let the
DNA.
audience decide whether I'm hilarious
please.
or I'm making sense.
Audience,
Why do you want to,
everybody is watching.
You don't have to
It's
summarize.
lovely.
Let the
Okay,
audience
one more
summarize
thing.
it.
Let him finish his point,
Yeah,
please.
so let
Please
them
go
decide.
ahead. Please go ahead.
Yes, go ahead with
Can I
Goenka.
complete? Yeah. So probably. And if I see Jammu and Kashmir, please understand, when the elections were done, we were all thinking that PDP and probably Farooq Saab will come together, form, and we will play our role of opposition there. It did not happen. So we thought, yes, it was necessary so that the things come back in Kashmir. We tried ourselves. And as the Prime Minister rightly said, he thought the alliance is of water and oil. It did not work out. We gave our best. So in politics, you try to put the country first. When you try to put the country first, when you try to put the principles first, when you try to put the program first. Janasangha got merged with other parties to form Janata Party because it was necessary at that time to fight against the evil of emergency.
Okay, you try
Things
to
did not
put
work
country
out. So
first by
Bharatiya Janata Party
joining
failed
hands
us.
with a
And I think
party
was
that
the right
wants
thing.
to give the same platform to separatists also, something that you will never agree on, that wants to do away with important articles in the constitution, something that you will never agree on. But okay, that is what I say by
What you're
politics
trying
of
to do is
convenience
you're
and
trying to
alliance
paint
of
everything
convenience.
together,
I am
in
not
a
trying
rush
to. We are
and,
going
if
example
you
by
put a little
example.
thinking
Now you
cap,
say Mr. Nitish Kumar
if
is
you
a
put
great
little thinking
visionary.
cap,
I agree
then
with you,
will
Mr.
see that
Mr.
Sharad
Vineet
Pawar calling
Goenka.
Sonia Gandhi Italian and then trying to say it is
It's the
something
same thing.
condemnable.
Yes,
But I
of
think,
course. But
when you do
Nitish
it
Kumar
for the
doing the
nation's
same.
interest, it is
He
not saying
has
the
a
same
great
thing. It's a two
vision.
different things.
His vision is that I need to always stay in power and I will do it
Nitish
whatever
Kumar and
way it
we,
has to be done. If
have
the
lot of
wave is in direction
principle-based
of the BJP,
differences.
I will join
Don't
hands with
we
the
agree on that?
BJP. If
We
it
have
is
a
in the direction of the
agreement in the
RJD,
disagreement,
I
but
will
think
go ahead
coming
with the
together gave a lot
RJD.
of solution to the Bihar.
Oh, sure, of course he has, but it's okay.
I think, when
I mean, you need to sit and defend him
if you
today
understand
because
that,
he is your ally today. But you wouldn't be doing
but
that. A
Nitish
couple
Kumar
of years
never
ago,
called Modi ji Italian, or rather,
well, how is that a
Modi
comparison?
ji never called him that he's a traitor.
How is that a
But if you see Sonia
comparison?
Gandhi's case and Sharad Pawar's case, Sharad Pawar called Sonia. No, what is why? I give my logic. Let Sharad Pawar give his logic.
Okay, now there is nobody from NCP
give
here
my
tonight.
logic. You may
Neither
accept
is
it,
there
you
is
may not
anybody
accept
from
it.
the Congress party
He's
tonight
born
to give you an
Italian,
explanation tonight.
married
But let
to-
me go
was
across to
married to
Bijon
an
Mishra.
Indian.
You should have
Bijon
brought
Mishra
somebody.
wanted to
was
make a
married to
point.
Indian.
This,
Before I go
you-
across to
you know,
Sangeet Kumar
you have to
Ragi,
understand
Mr.
why
Goenka,
Morarji
let me
Bhai
go to
had
the other
to talk
panelists.
against Congress. Why Malivaji talked against Congress?
Let me go across to Bijon
Please
Mishra.
do that.
Yes, Mr. Mishra, go ahead.
You see what Tanvi, what I wanted to share with you all is that we as citizens, we definitely, kind of acknowledge that when you fall out from a party, you can start your own political party. That's fine. We agree with that.
Yes, I
Right?
agree.
But we don't agree with mergers and acquisitions
Yes.
which are taking place like any corporate world.
Yes.
In the political world today, we are seeing mergers and acquisitions which are based on economic gains and enrichment, which is not right.
Oh, right.
This is degeneration. This is devaluing the political system of our country. Nowhere in the world you will find such degeneration of individuals who are giving up their ideologies, their leadership, for the sake of money, for the sake of power. So this acquisition and mergers which are happening in the political system in the country should be stopped, and we must bring a law to stop this. Otherwise, this political system is going to rot in our country, let me tell you, because we will not have any faith in our leaders.
Okay,
You
let
know,
me
all
take up
these
that point,
so-called
Mr. Mishra,
actors
and go
who
take
are
it
joining
across to
political parties.
Sangeet Kumar Ragi. Let me take that point.
I agree with you. People are joining politics as a professionals. I 100% agree with you. They're joining politics as a professional and they're looking for their growth as a professional, like in corporate world. There is nothing called ideology. There I agree with you.
Well, that's very frank and honest of you, Vandana Singh. Thank you for at least admitting that much. Sangeet Kumar Ragi, what is worse in your mind? Parties
Well, I do,
with different
Tanvi
ideologies or claiming to have different ideologies and different policies coming together for the greed of power or to beat a common enemy? Or what is worse than that is perhaps individuals who've been with a party for 10 years, 20 years, defended every decision, defended those leaders, and then overnight switched parties and gone to the ones that they had been pointing fingers at and abusing all this while.
Yeah, I mean,
Tanvi, I
I'm
seldom.
neither amused nor I am
Tanvi,
Vandana Singh,
amazed.
the question was to Sangeet Kumar Ragi. Please let him give the answer. Yes, Mr. Ragi.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Tanvi, I seldom agree with you, but this is a stark political reality of the country. You will be surprised to know that I was in my cabin and I received a call from United States of America, and the person told me, do you know Priyanka Chaturvedi has left the Congress? And it was shocking and surprising to me in both ways. You know, this is the reality that the political people are joining political parties, and the political parties are all about the power. And when somebody has to leave the political party, they create monster out of it, and then they will always be making some tall claims. If you look at the defection in the parties or leaving the party by any politician, they would be saying that they are leaving because there was no place for social justice, there was no place for the party was not following the path of secularism. Ramvilas Paswan left the BJP coalition. So all these are, I find that I have been tracking Indian politics for last 25 years. These are not driven by democratic values. They are all driven by their own individual desire how to create a place in the political system. That's my first point. So ideology is not the guiding principle.
Yeah.
They are there. They talk about the ideology, but they hardly practice it, and it applies to all the political parties. The proportion is different. Means you cannot say the same thing about the BJP and the left parties. But I think that there also the virus has.
You never know, Mr. Ragi. Someday, you never know.
Politics.
Someday that may happen too if their joint hatred for Mamata Banerjee becomes a bit much, and the left has no other option left. You never know. Is all I'm going to say there at that point. Because you raised Priyanka Chaturvedi, we actually spoke with her. And we asked her this question again and again. Explain to us what just happened here.
Let me finish.
Okay, go ahead. Finish your point.
Let me, Tanvi, let me. I am more worried about the India's political system. It has started with the national parties, then it moved towards the regional parties, then the regional parties converted themselves into the family parties. It is the family parties in the regions are dominating the political system of the country. And now the worry is, and the trend you may look for, that there are caste-based parties emerging in different states. So caste-based and sub-caste-based, because the first past post system, that is creating a space for even a single community and sub-community within the community. And I'm not surprised if you look at the Europe, because of the homogenized population, first past post system created, two-party system. But where it was in a proportional representation, you will be finding that there are always coalition. But they, without any exceptions.
Yes.
So there is a political value. They are cherishing the political value. So we won't be finding this kind of a major defection overnight within one party from the other party. But this is unfortunate that in India, we have relegated the values, democratic values, to the margin. And in democracy, I always now have started
Mr. Ragi, I will disagree with you on one aspect, though. I will disagree with you on one aspect, though, and then that will feel a little bit more normal to you, because usually we do disagree on most of the conversations. But you mentioned Europe. I'm going to give you the example of what's happening in UK today. Now, similar kind of dirty politics and parliamentary politics playing out, where people who may even agree on the idea of Brexit but have a greater conflict or hate for their own party leader and prime minister are not allowing that Brexit deal to go through, because politics for them and internal politics, party politics, is a far bigger thing right now than this whole Brexit issue that they had been fighting for all this time. So when it comes to power, I think these equations change very quickly, and then all your beliefs go flying right out of the window. Now, I wanted to play out Priyanka Chaturvedi, our conversation with her, because we asked her this question to try and understand where she is coming from. This is the most recent switch that we have seen. Let's listen into an excerpt of that conversation.
One of the most prominent faces of Indian National Congress, Priyanka Chaturvedi, has now joined Shiv Sena. We are being joined by her. Priyanka ji, thanks a lot for speaking to us. My first question to you will be, you said that because of the women issues, you want to empower women and speak about them. That's why you have joined Shiv Sena. But the party also does not have a very good history when it comes to, respecting women. There are leaders in this party who have made derogatory comments against women. So then how will you justify this?
No, I haven't stood by any derogatory comments coming from my previous party either. I have not hesitated to speak up when women leaders across spectrum were spoken against. And as far as, this entire perception that is being created about the Sena, on the other hand, I look at a Shiv Sena which is committed to the girl child, which is committed to ensuring that they feel safe when they go out in the streets of Mumbai, streets of Maharashtra. They can go at any hour of the day, wear the clothes they want, live a life they want. If they wish to stay out late night, they do not feel that sense of fear or sense of, danger at all. And training these women by empowering them with self-defense courses, with ensuring that their health and hygiene is looked after through BMC initiatives, ensuring that sanitary napkins are provided to them. I think these are the initiatives which need to be built upon and taken on to another level altogether. So I feel the fight has to be of change for women in the society as such, across political party lines, has to come from every single woman who takes a political stance.
Also, I know you have denied that the denial of the ticket is not something which resulted into this, but the fact is you immediately joined Shiv Sena within, it was a very quick step from your side.
Absolutely.
So how do you justify that? Because there are people who are saying that it was planned in advance and that's why you were actually in talks with Shiv Sena while tweeting that as well.
No, not true at all. And as far as I am concerned, 29th is the last date of voting in Maharashtra. So if you think that it is for a ticket, it is not likely. And again, I shall reiterate, my political journey with a political party may have come to an end. My political journey in life continues.
My last question to you will be, ma'am, because...
Okay, so in fact, that other question then goes on to ask her that you all this while have been attacking the BJP and criticizing them and taking them on. And now how you are going to be as a part of the NDA alliance, and how does that work? And Mr. Goenka, this is going to be interesting. That day is very close that Priyanka Chaturvedi will also be defending the BJP and the steps of BJP and Shiv Sena at one point of time. It can happen very soon.
And
Mr. Ragi, to you, and then Bijon Mishra. Yes.
Tanvi, that is why I tweeted.
Is the question to me?
That is why I tweeted around 5 o'clock today that Priyanka Chaturvedi welcome to larger Hindu Parivar. And she had no reply for that. But anyhow,
yes.
Let me say that the case of, you were talking about Sonowal and case of, Nitish Kumar, every case should be treated on the basis of merit. It was unbearable for Mr. Nitish Kumar to live with Lalu Yadav because the kind of pressure that was coming from the RJD cadres to, enter into business of dishonesty and corruption, and police stations were being asked to do favor
it was
to the
unbearable
cadres.
for him
So this
to
kind
live
of
with
things
Modi
I learned
earlier.
from
It is unbearable for him to live with Lalu later.
No. That's fine.
Yeah, so
It was unbearable for him to go with Modi
happens,
also.
What happens that in many cases... No. That's the point. I don't disagree, because many a times you take a decision on the basis of ideological position that you have. And on occasional also, you may take the decision or because you think that it is going to provide a better political dividend. So the same Nitish Kumar in one position was making a choice on the basis of his ideological position. In other cases, he might take a position on the basis of the political dividend he had in mind. So the two cases are entirely different. As far as Sonowal is concerned, Sonowal was fighting for the infiltration.
No, what is the ideological position? A socialist Nitish Kumar
and
joining
he was
a
the one who had
conservative
filed the case in the
BJP.
Supreme
Where is
Court
the
on the
ideology
basis of which
there?
it's created. And there was, this was the issue, sir, just 10 seconds, sir, just 10 seconds. It was the issue, there was a larger convergence of ideological position between Sonowal and the BJP.
How did he discover that overnight?
Came together.
How did he discover that overnight?
From the Assembly Parishad
This
to
defection I don't
BJP
understand. How
was
did
not
Pema
something
Khandu
on the
discover
basis of
his,
the
BJP
his ideological
BJP
matchings overnight?
Sonowal didn't know at that point of
No,
time.
Mr. Ragi, now see, you're doing the same thing. You are justifying the ones who joined the BJP, but you will mock the excuses being given to us by the others. My question is, how do you realize overnight, oh no, wait, my ideological beliefs match more with the party that I had been attacking and abusing and criticizing all this time and opposing and fighting? It only happens when you are not getting what you want for yourself, whether it is a seat, whether it is a post, or whether it is any kind of other gratification that you may want. When that doesn't happen, or you think you're bigger than the party or the other leader in that party, and you walk away, and then you realize, perhaps like Nitish Kumar did, know that you're not bigger than Narendra Modi, and you have no other option left but to go back to that alliance, and that's what has happened here. Let me bring in Mr. Bijon Mishra on that aspect. Mr. Mishra, you also had a point to make when we were playing out the... I'll come back to you, Sangeet Kumar Agi, I'll come back to you.
Tanvi.
Bijon Mishra wanted to say something about when we were playing out the Priyanka Chaturvedi. Yes, Mr. Rao, I'll come to you next.
Tanvi.
Mr. Nageshwar, I'll come to you next, but first Bijon Mishra.
Okay, Tanvi. Yeah, Tanvi, I just wanted to make a quick point. I don't want to mention her name. The lady who quitted Congress and joined Shiv Sena. I feel ashamed to mention her name also. She has lost her credibility. She is talking such a big things about human rights, about doing work for the women. She could have continued doing the same work while being in Congress. You don't have to switch a party to continue to do the good work which you have been doing. Now she has lost her complete credibility. She's lost her complete credibility. She is no longer, in the eyes of the citizen, a credible, dependable citizen who can work for the cause of the women. In my view, she has lost the credibility.
Well, the other
I disagree with you. I disagree with you, Mr. Bijon Mishra.
Diluting their
Okay, Vanda Singh,
I disagree with
Vanda
you.
Singh,
You are not analyzing the whole
do you agree with that?
Tanvi ji,
Or
I
is there...
like you to ask...
Okay, first, one minute. Everybody wants to make a point, can't happen. Everybody can't speak together. Mr. Nageshwar has been wanting to make a point for a while, so let me go to him. And then I will ask Vanda Singh if there is merit to the argument that, well, I wasn't being allowed to do these things, or there were people who harassed me, and Congress still reinstated them. That shows utter disrespect for a woman and what the woman may be going through, which is why she had to walk away from the Congress party. There could be merit in that as well. But Mr. Nageshwar, you wanted to say something. Go ahead, please.
No, the political leaders and their so-called independent advocates should at least be honest to the facts. I can appreciate Goenka ji when he said how Shyama Prasad Mukherjee differed and all that. But is it Shyama Prasad Mukherjee's vision to join hands with the PDP, which wants more than autonomy? So where is the commonality between a party that wants abrogation of Article 370, that wants autonomy beyond Article 370? Where is the commonality between a BJP, which in its manifesto called for Citizenship Amendment Bill, and a AJP which opposed Citizenship Amendment Bill and walked out of the NDA? Where is the commonality between Nitish Kumar, who refused to share dayas with the Modi, calling him a communal, and now joining hands with the country? If he is, as Sangeet Ragi said, if he is so terribly unbearable with Lalu, he can remain aloof. He need not join BJP. So he can always remain aloof. If journey with Lalu is unbearable. So this kind of a defense. In fact, we have discussed the problem enough. Let us focus on solutions. The politicians and political analysts can interpret the problem, but let us have solutions. How to solve the problem?
Okay,
Political
Mr. Vineet
parties have a
Goenka, do
strange
you want to
defense.
respond to what
They
Mr.
always
Nageshwar
defend
is
any-
asking you? Yes, let me get a response from Vineet Goenka on that.
I would like to. Yeah, I would like to respond. I just got a SMS from one of your viewers. When I was speaking, the volumes were going down. So I would request your PCR not to do that, because otherwise it will not be fair. And to also request,
Mr.
I have heard
Goenka,
everybody very patiently.
Mr.
I do not
Goenka,
speak
if you're
in
going to go
between
on
anybody.
and on,
So I get the same
then
expectation.
that is going to happen, and I think our viewers understand that, because they would want to hear one person at a time, and if everybody is going to speak at one point of time,
You can always
then
tell
we
me
will
to
not be
stop.
able
I will
to
stop. I
hear.
will speak in between.
I will take your
So I
word
can
for
always
that.
stop.
If
You
I
do
ask
not.
you to
See,
stop
I-
and you
I do
stop,
not
I
speak
will
in-
take your word for that. Go ahead and make your point now.
No. No, you did not call us also. We never pleaded. When we get 20 calls from your channel, then we come. So you need not call and then take our views. Absolutely, you have a liberty. You are a good journalist and you can decide whether you would like to have our view or not. It's your choice. But don't be unfair by putting the volume down. So let me now answer each of them who said, and there are 7 points which I would like to make, and I will have request that all the 7 points have been done by me. I agree with Mishraji when he says there should be a debate whether there should be a law and there should be an amendment in the Public Representative Act where this kind of things should be taken seriously, and that debate can be done in the studios, on the roads, also in the house, and finally a law can be made. But till the law is made, then people have the liberty to do it. But one thing which all these learned panels have not told the audience today is the ethos of democracy. The entire ethos of democracy is liberty and dignity. When there are no compulsion, there are no denials to somebody. If somebody feels he has been frustrated, if there is a denial to him, then he has a right to voice himself. Now, yes, as a citizen or as a voter or as a politician or as a journalist, we all have a right to have a comment on that, have a right to debate over that and cast our views on that. And I think the self-declared custodians of, the political morality sometimes forget that our own constitution gives a right for an individual to represent himself. See, I come from third generation RSS. I will die in BJP. I have no choice. I will never do this. And I'm dead against with people who have this kind of choices. But that is my individual view. But when I see this in the ethos, in the spectacles of the democracy, my forefathers, my founder fathers of this country fought for liberty. And when you say you don't do this and you don't do that, then I think the entire ethos is defeated. So my request to this learned gentry sitting here is that, please, sometimes also think from that liberty angle. Yes, there may be people who are greedy. We should
Political prostitution
Sir, I never
is not
spoke in
celebration
between.
of
Sir, I
liberty.
never spoke in between.
Don't use the great words.
Sir, I did not spoke. Sir, you are a
Sir,
learned
if
man.
you
I
want
did
to
not
speak for
in
10
between
minutes,
you, sir.
then we should also be given 10 minutes.
Okay. Vineet Goenka, your points are taken.
Come on now,
Though
let
I
him
must
finish.
admit
Sir,
this.
can I continue?
Mr.
Can I
Goenka,
continue?
no.
Can I continue?
No,
Can I
no,
come in?
no.
Can I
I'm running
complete my
out of
point, please?
time.
No,
You
please.
need to stop
Mr.
now,
Goenka,
Mr.
we also
Goenka.
said
We
we
heard
were
you
waiting.
out,
I'm not
Mr.
here to
Goenka.
listen to your
I was
I took
interrupted
your
by your
word,
panelist. I was
and you
interrupted
said
with
you
the
will
panelist.
stop when I asked you
Be
to stop.
fair.
So
We
I
are
am
not
asking
here to
you now.
listen to Mr.
Vanda Singh,
Goenka
please.
speak.
I don't
Your
need lectures
panelist
from any
interrupted
of
me.
you to
Your
how to
panelist
be
interrupted
fair
me.
or how to conduct my panel. Now I have heard you out, Mr.
Sure.
Vineet Goenka, and I'm frankly very surprised, but it is good that at least once in a while even the BJP gives us lectures on liberty and BJP gives us lectures on freedom of choice, and that everybody in this country has a choice, and if they want to choose to shift to another political party, and or if political parties choose to come together and then become enemies and come together again, they should be allowed to do so, because this is a free country and they have the freedom to do so and liberty and all. It's quite nice to hear the BJP actually say that, but viewers, think about it. How do we trust a leader who says, I believe in XYZ, and that this person is not good for you, his ideologies are all wrong, he's going to work against you, he's not going to bring development, he is actually only for a certain class of people, and then 5 years down the line or 5 hours down the line, this person changes and says, no, he is the best candidate you have, you must vote for him. He is going to bring development for you. He is going to be the voice of the backward caste. He is going to be the voice of empowered women and speak about women's security and all of that. I think we need to send a message to these netas that if you switch your camps again and again and have zero ideology and beliefs of your own, then we are going to see through it and we are not going to buy your story anymore. And we are not going to back you and we are not going to vote for you. If we see spokesperson who sits today and sell one story and tomorrow switch their sides and give us an excuse that doesn't sound logical at all, we are going to call your bluff out. We need politicians and netas who believe in their cause, who believe in the cause of the voter, and then will deliver on that. I agree, sometimes in the era of a broken, at times of a broken mandate, if two political parties have to come together to form a coalition government, to respect that mandate of the people. But I do not understand pre-election alliances only to keep the third party out. Completely out of time. So thank you so much for joining us.